I'm Ryan J. on the Yellow Brick Road carpet at the world premiere of the new Disney movie Oz the Great and Powerful. Now, I'm a huge Oz fan, but of course I couldn't be there in 1939 for the premiere of The Wizard of Oz, but that makes being here today that much more special and thrilling. Oz the Great and Powerful is the continuation of the legacy of Oz on film. This time around, it's the origin story of the wizard. How cool is that? So let's see who we can catch up with on the Yellow Brick Road carpet. How does it feel to be walking the Yellow Brick Road carpet at the premiere?
You know, it's a great time. This whole thing has been such a big surprise and such a big production to be involved with. Every day that we were on set, it was a surprise. You never knew what was going to happen. Sam kept us on his toes.
One of the reasons why I think The Wizard of Oz has had such staying power in pop culture is because of its themes of brains, heart, courage, home. What are some of the themes in this film, without giving anything away, that could have the similar impact on pop culture?
Well, I know what attracted Sam Raimi the most was the idea of here was a selfish man who learns to become a selfless man. And I think that was what he hung his hat on that, very much so.
The most successful Oz projects have been musicals. At any point, did you consider making this a musical?
No. When I look at a movie, all I think about is the movie, and never like one thing beyond that.
And how much of this is original versus Baum?
Mostly original.
Mostly original.
Yeah. You know.
So how will you respond to Baum loyalists who are kind of like, that doesn't fit in with the canon of Oz?
I try to be, again, as faithful as possible because, like I said, this is not just a remake of an ordinary movie. This is The Wizard of Oz. And so I tried in my own head to see everything, like how would this become the movie we all know and love.
You appear in all of your brother's films.
Yeah, I am.
Who are you in this movie?
Well, I'm a couple different characters here. In all my brother's pictures, I play 2 or 3 different parts. Saves money. And
well, it's actually true to the canon of Oz because they played multiple roles in The Wizard of Oz.
That's a good point. I didn't think about that. In this case, that's true. It is like the original movie. Yeah, it's pretty cool. And in this picture, I play a drunk guy that heckles James Franco.
I'm imagining that's in Kansas.
That would be in Kansas. And I'm also another character called a quadling that you'll see in the picture. There's a bunch of kinds of creatures here that are in the original Baum books that aren't in the original Wizard of Oz movie.
You are the strongman in the Kansas scenes, is that right?
Yes.
Do you also have a dual role where you appear?
No.
No. How unfortunate. Here you are in an Oz film and they're repeating that technique.
Yes.
Tell us what happens in your moment in Kansas, or what the experience was like on this Oz film.
I am the strongman in a traveling circus, and Oz is a magician in a traveling circus. And we have a little bit of problems with each other, and that's it. And
So
all I can say is, without the strongman, there'd be no Oz. I'm serious. Wait till you see the movie. You're like, you know what? You're right. Without that guy, there'd be no Oz.
Are you a fan of the original L. Frank Baum books?
Very much so. You know, in terms of, there was no particular one story that I said, you know, because this is not that. These are all 20 years before Dorothy was even born. But what I loved about the Baum books was this imagination and different, and you know, there were some characters that we tried to get in, but for whether it was budget or whatever, couldn't. That just the incredible stuff that Baum, like, how did he think of that back then?
Right.
You know?
Were you a fan of the books growing up?
Oh yeah, of course. They're amazing. You know, those books are like the American Iliad. You know, it's our great adventure tale, you know, to another land, and it informs us as Americans. You know, it's like, you know, you want to, like parents, I suppose, saying, you want to know about everything, just read these books. You'll learn about everything you need to know. Courage, strength, heart. Yeah, now get out of here and shovel the walk.
Is Oz going to have a theme that's going to be as iconic and recognizable as Alice?
Well, I mean, I have no idea. All I ever hope when I finish a score is that I did a reasonably good job. Beyond that, it's like not for me to say. I'm the worst judge of my own work.
Do you think there's a piece that has a catchy hook that people will hear and think, oh, that's Oz?
Well, I hope so. I always hope so, but who knows?
What was it like working with James Franco?
Unbelievable, man. What a pro. I learned so much from him. And I actually studied at the same school he studied at growing up here in California, Playhouse West. So the same techniques were involved and given to each other. It was great bouncing that stuff off of him. And he helped me a lot. He was very patient with me because this is a big movie.
So many people hold this story so close, this land so close to their hearts. How much pressure did Sam feel creating this or reimagining it for today's audience?
Well, I imagine he must have felt a lot of pressure. It's, you know, you've got something that is like the Washington Monument for all of us, you know? It's sacred, a thing, but I think he handled it very reverently. And I think that a whole new generation of kids now are going to get to see something that only their parents, you know, would talk about in sort of boring, quiet cocktail parties. And I'm sure they probably found it kind of dull too, but now they're going to get to see it in a whole new crazy 3D way.
Mitchell, one of the famous lines from the original film is "There's no place like home." Is there a sentiment or line in this film that's going to be as catchy?
We tried to, but Warner Brothers said no. That's unfortunately the fact. You know, I tried to keep as many of the same sentiments and the same line, you know, variations on the same lines as possible, because I wanted to revere the first one, right? Which I think it's not as if you're remaking just an ordinary movie. To me, this is an all-time classic.
Stephen Schwartz, when he did the music for Wicked, he retooled some of the melodies from Wizard of Oz songs. Did you do any hidden gems throughout the score here, like change tempos of some previous Oz works?
No, that was our the one thing we decided up front is that we wouldn't and couldn't touch anything from the Wizard of Oz.
How big of a Wizard of Oz fan were you?
Huge. I mean, who didn't grow up watching that? Well, I'm more than you. But I'm saying, I mean, I grew up watching it.
I did. It's my favorite movie ever.
Yeah,
but
I watch it every year.
So did you have like a pinch me moment while working on this movie of like, wow, I can't believe I'm doing this?
Yeah, when I walk through the studio at Raleigh Studios every day.
Yeah.
5 a.m. I'm like, holy cow, I'm working in the Wizard of Oz.
Are you ready for some sequels?
Oh yeah, hopefully. Buy a lot of tickets.
And there's rumors that like maybe a third sequel or fourth would actually be a retelling of the Wizard of Oz, but it's more faithful to the book. Could you see that happening?
Well, there is no. I don't think we'll go as far as Dorothy.
Really?
But I'm not sure.
Even 3 or 4 films from now?
Well, hopefully 10 maybe.
Well, there were 14 books. You could have maybe 14 sequels.
Exactly. But again, this is not based on any of the books, and because the books really started with Dorothy's arrival, so this is all well before then.
Did you have a pinch me moment while making this movie, like, oh my God, I'm a munchkin?
Sure. You know, I mean, like I said, it's such a big production. And being part of this and the history of it, and then something new with Sam's take of it, it's exciting.